It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the King's University's head women's basketball coach, Coach Torey Hill. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college women's basketball?
Yeah, so basketball has always been like a passion in my life. Obviously I played college basketball, and so I wanted to continue my career in the coaching path. I didn't know if I wanted to be head coach, but I always knew I wanted to stay involved with basketball. So that's kind of why I began my path in coaching, because once you're done your college career, like playing years, you kind of have to find a different route. So that's why I took that route, is the coaching path.
What was that experience like going to college at Southern Utah and playing collegiate league basketball?
Southern Utah was an awesome environment. Down in the US, that environment down there is a lot more competitive. So I really loved that environment down there, and I had a great coaching crew that helped me evolve my game. And then I came back here to Canada to finish off my career. But I have to say, if you ever get the chance to go play in the US, I always tell players to take that opportunity.
What was that transition like playing from the US and then going and playing in college in Canada?
The transition is the same because you still have that college level. I think the biggest part is the pace of the game. Down in the States, it's a much quicker pace of the game compared to the Canadian level colleges, like especially at the ACAC level, but you still have that competitive nature. So I think that transitioned overall, but that's the biggest transition I would say is the pace of the game.
For you, what was that experience like getting to represent the university and putting on that jersey?
So whenever I got to represent the university when I played, it was an honor because there's not a whole lot of girls that take the path to continue their career in basketball. So it was an honor that I got to do that. So I loved it. Every time I got to compete, I have a competitive nature. So I really love putting on that jersey every single time, whether it was a home or away jersey. I just love the environment, that competitive nature, and having the friends beside me and athletes that were there for that same path. So yeah.
For you, what was that experience like getting into coaching and going on the club level of Edmonton?
So the first experience for coaching, it was a different experience. So the one thing with coaching is you can't go on the court yourself. So I had to make that adjustment of no matter what, I had to teach the girls how to compete. Because myself, I couldn't go on the court. Whereas a player, I knew I could go on and make a change. But as a coach, I had to stand from the sideline and watch things evolve. And that was tough. So that was always the toughest part there.
For you, what was that transition like going from club coaching to the college level coaching?
Club coaching to college level is much different. But in a good way, it's a lot more competitive. And at the college level, every single player that is there is fighting for a spot. They want to be there. Where at the club, you have different levels. You have some of the players there that want to move on and play college. You have some players that are there just to kind of be in a different environment and learn a different sport. But when you reach that college level, everyone is there for the same game plan. So I think that was the biggest step there.
For you, what was that feeling like getting announced to become the next head coach for TKU?
I loved it. It was a great feeling for myself because being a female coach on that female basketball side, I was so happy to have that opportunity and to have the King's University want me to be there and assist and grow that program. So it was an honor to be a part of that. And I love the game. So to help other females within that game, I was so excited to be able to do that. So yes.
How was that feeling like getting to step onto that court that you played on?
It was different. It was a different feeling for sure. As a coach, now you get to, like I said before, you get to watch from the sideline. but you also get to watch the players experience the same experience you had on that court. So that's kind of why I love that feeling and seeing the girls as I coach them get that same feeling too and that honor of putting on that jersey.
How's that process been like as a coach, getting to build the coaching staff and the players around you?
It it can be difficult, but I have to say I've surrounded myself with a great support system. So I have great assistant coaches from Coach Memphis, Coach Gadiel, and then also I had great mentors like Brian Anses, who was very involved in the basketball world, and a lot of other mentors throughout my life that have helped me create that kind of environment that I need to be in to be a successful coach. So really for me it was surrounding myself with the people with the same like-minded there.
What was that feeling like getting your first win as a head coach?
Oh, it's the best feeling. It is getting your first win as a head coach is one of the best feelings. Because everything before that I find you're very stressed out because you're trying to prove a point. So I think that was it. The feeling was more relief, I think, of knowing, okay, I have one win under my belt. I can now start moving forward and not feel so stressed. So that'd be the biggest feeling.
For you, what does a typical game day look like for you as a head coach versus for your athletes?
Yeah, so a typical game day for myself is as a head coach. Coaching is kind of it's not my full-time job. I have another full-time job. So obviously I still have to go to that job throughout the day, but the whole day, obviously, I'm prepping myself for that game. I'm making sure I have everything prepped the night before, and then I can wake up that morning and make sure I have it all good to go. I like to show up early before games, get there before everyone, just so I can ensure everything's kind of ready to go. I got my mentality ready because I have to get the girls' mentality ready. So for me, the game day is long, but I love that day.
Of course, what is that culture like for you, building the culture for the King's University?
So can you repeat that question? You kind of cut in out there.
What have you built in the culture for King's University?
Yeah, so the culture, I'm trying to build a very competitive culture, but also a healthy culture for the girls. I always preach to them that basketball is a part of your life, but it's not your life. I want them to understand that the skills you learn in basketball you can apply throughout your life or your work experience going forward. So the culture for me is about creating almost like a family too that you can fall back to and have a great support system. So that's the biggest culture point for myself of creating.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
Yeah, so some of the teams we have North and South. So some of them in the North, you have Lakeland, you have Fort McMurray, you have Grant Prairie, Concordia, Nate, and then some of the South ones, you have Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, St. Mary's, but there's a variety of teams in our level.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Lethbridge comes to home versus going to Madison?
Yeah, so the home game atmosphere is amazing because with that culture that I'm creating with the family atmosphere, we also get that family atmosphere at the game. So we get a ton of fans out that support our girls wherever they go. So with that said, our home games are very loud, very we have parents there, we have family, friends, and they'll follow us across the province, which is amazing to have that support system at both away and home games, but the home games are the best games.
What is that atmosphere like playing in different provinces in Canada?
Yeah, so I think every province has different atmospheres depending on where you go. Some of them are a lot more competitive and loud, while others are a lot quieter. But overall, you're still going to get that competitive nature, and you have that fan base that is there for your team. So it can be the same across the board, but you have a great support system, I think, in all provinces.
As a head coach so far, what have been some of your biggest accomplishments?
Yeah, so this year's head coach, I was luckily named coach of the year for the North, which is an amazing accomplishment for myself in my first year. So I was super proud of that. But I also have to take in consideration that that came from the girls. I would have never gotten where I was without their buy-in with helping me coach. We got third at ACAC playoffs this year, which is amazing for The girls, they were super proud of that. We broke records for the school going 18-2. So this year was a really good year for everyone from the coaching staff and then from just the player wise. It was an awesome year.
What was that experience like breaking records and going 18-2?
Yeah, so the experience, it's stressful, it's fun. Um, I think in the end, you look back and you have to say you're super proud of everyone. During the moment, I have to say it's stressful because everyone's chasing you in the league, so it can be very, very stressful. But it's nice to see when a program grows to have those records broken. It really makes us proud, and we want to do it again next year. We always want to kind of up it every year. So there's a lot of pressure, but we try to make sure we take it step by step.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes? And as a head coach, what do you look at in them?
Yeah, so the recruitment process for myself is we do get a lot of emails in with athletes, and I try to ensure for myself that I answer every single email towards those athletes because they've taken the time to reach out to me. So I want to ensure I take the time to reach out back to them. Usually I'll ask them kind of which school they go to, if they have any games coming up to let me know a schedule. I'm a coach who loves going and watching games in person. I think it's a different environment when you get to watch an athlete that potentially wants to come to your school in person. Game film can be sent, but again, I'll always ask to go to games in person and try to see them in person. I'm always looking for that competitive nature, an athlete that is always going to push through the good and bad games, even when I come out. If they're losing, I want to see what their attitude is like because that determines what they're going to be like at our program. So I'm never looking for every player to be a top scorer or that sort of thing. I'm looking to build pieces. So it really depends on the year of who we lose and what piece we need to fill. So there's many different roles and pieces on our team. So I just want athletes to understand that you don't have to be the top scorer, but just remember there's so many other places you can fill a hole on a team. And that's what I always look for.
What does that visit look like for those prospective student athletes, and what unique qualities do you offer for them?
Yeah, so the visit usually looks like for ourselves is I like to invite the athletes out to a practice. I like them to see the environment of what it's like to be at the university, what a practice may look like. Because in the end, they have to have that connection with myself and the players at the program. So when they get to come out to a practice, they feel a lot more comfortable of where they're going. And in turn, their parents also feel a lot more comfortable because they can have an understanding of where they're going, who they'll be with. And then we sit down and talk about maybe the schooling they're looking at, the financial side, that sort of piece. But the biggest part for me that we offer is I want them to come out to see the school, meet people, and feel like they're a part of the team already. That's the biggest piece for me.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen putting on that King's University jersey?
Oh, I love it. So I'm so proud of them because I know how hard they've worked to get there. So I love when freshmen get that opportunity and you can see the nerves come with inside, but you also know how excited they are to get on that floor. So for me, it's a proud moment to see that.
What is that like getting to see those seniors putting on that jersey for the last time?
It's an emotional time. It's happy, but it's also sad because I know that's going to be their last game and I've been with them in where I'm from. We can have seniors for 5 years. So that's for me, you build such a close relationship that I feel like such a mentor to them. So it's very sad for me, but also I'm so proud of them to see how far they've come and accomplished everything that they have.
For you as a head coach, what is it like seeing them going on to representing Team Canada or going to the WNBA?
Yeah, so if any players ever move up to Team Canada or WNBA or to the next level, for me, it's a super proud moment. That means I've done the job that I need to do because every athlete's goal is usually to always get to the highest level that they can play. So when I can see athletes move their way up in the basketball world, that is the proudest moment for me.
What is it like for you as a coach getting to see them going into coaching after their playing career?
Oh, especially in the female world, when you see females go into the coaching after, it is another successful moment because the more females we can have in coaching and more mentors that we can have, I think that's the greatest thing that we can do. And knowing that they want to get in coaching because maybe I got them to that place or they felt as though they want to be where I'm at. That's another proud moment for me because I know that they're following a path that I have, and I'm super proud to watch that path that they follow.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Yeah, so the program moving forward, I'm going into my second year, so we're always recruiting. We're always trying to find pieces to fill. Our goal is always to go for that gold medal in the end. That's like I said, everyone's goal. But the biggest goal moving forward is building that program that we've already started, keeping that foundation and finding girls that want to be a part of this program for 5 years, 4 or 5 years, however many we can get out of them, but it's having that program that when an athlete leaves this program, they have an understanding of what they were taught, the memories and that sort of thing, and then they want to give back to the program. That's always my goal going forward, is that when athletes leave, that they want to look at giving back to this program because they appreciated everything that came from it.
What advice would you give those players looking to go play for either Team Canada or for the WNBA?
Yeah, so the advice I could give anyone that wants to move up in the basketball levels is you can't be afraid. You have to get your name out there. You will have hard times that maybe you get cut from a team, but in the end, I always tell people go try out, because what's the worst that they say is no, you can't be on the team. Because it's better than not trying out, right? Like you never know until you give yourself that opportunity. So give yourself that opportunity, send film, go out to any tryouts, get your name out there.
What advice would you give those players looking to get started into their coaching career?
Yeah, if you're ever going to start into coaching career, I always say start with the younger generation. And the reason is because when you're at the age of 8 or younger, those are the kids that have a great passion for the game. They have a love for the game. They're just starting. So it's the perfect time for any starting coach to kind of get an idea and see what they like, if they want to do that coaching career, and then work your way up, because those are the kids that are going to show you your love for the game and coaching. So I always say start in the younger ages and work your way up.
What advice would you give those head coaches looking at starting in coaching on the college level?
Yeah, so any head coaches that are trying to get into that college level is, like I said about athletes, is get your name out there. Go make contacts with other coaches. Start as an assistant coach, start as a mentor maybe for the team, but make contact with the team so that you can kind of work with that team, and over the years work your way up to that head coach position, and then that's usually when you gain the trust from the program and the team themselves.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program at?
Yeah, so on social media, we're the King's University Women's Basketball. We have Instagram and Facebook. So all of them can follow us. We love the support. If you want to come out to any games, all our information can be found on the social media there. And if you ever DM, we're always happy to answer any questions, whether that's athletes DMing us. So head out to our social media. We have everything on there.
Thank you again, Coach Torey Hill, for your interview, and best luck in your future at the King's University as the head women's basketball coach.
Thank you so much for having me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Torey Hill, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.